Story 1. The Echoes of Aokigahara. Amidst the dense, chilling expanse of Aokigahara, a notorious forest at the foot of Mount Fuji, stood an abandoned Japanese home that bore the weight of an unspeakable tragedy. The once thriving residence now stood as a relic of despair, its walls holding the echoes of a dark past. It was a place where the line between the living and the dead blurred, and those who dared to enter would come face to face with the lingering spirits that refused to find peace. The air in Aokigahara was thick with an unnatural stillness as a group of intrepid urban explorers ventured into the heart of the forest. Their flashlights cut through the oppressive darkness, casting long shadows that seemed to dance with the whispers of the trees. The abandoned home loomed ahead, its decaying structure visible through the twisted branches that reached out like skeletal fingers. Among the group was Emma, a fearless photographer with a penchant for capturing the eerie beauty of abandoned places. Beside her was Mark, a skeptical journalist who scoffed at the idea of supernatural forces. Jake, a thrill seeker with a passion for the paranormal, and Sarah, a history enthusiast fascinated by the tales of Aokigahara, completed the quartet. The group approached the desolate home, its windows shattered, and its wooden facade weathered by the passage of time. As they crossed the threshold, an oppressive chill settled in the air, and the atmosphere seemed to thicken with an otherworldly presence. Emma raised her camera, eager to document the haunting beauty that surrounded them. The creaking floorboards beneath their feet echoed through the empty rooms, as if the house itself groaned in response to the intrusion. The air was filled with the scent of mildew and decay, and the group pressed on, guided by an unspoken curiosity that propelled them deeper into the heart of the forsaken dwelling. In the dim light, they stumbled upon a room that bore the scars of a tragedy long past. Faded wallpaper peeled away from the walls, revealing stains that hinted at a gruesome history. Emma's camera clicked as she documented the room, capturing the essence of the despair that clung to the space like a malevolent specter. As the group explored further, they discovered an old journal hidden beneath a rotting floorboard. Its pages were filled with the desperate scrawls of a grieving mother, recounting the inexplicable events that had unfolded within the confines of the home. The entries spoke of a family torn apart by sorrow, of inexplicable phenomena that defied rational explanation. Intrigued and disturbed, the group continued their exploration, unaware that the spirits of the past were watching, their spectral eyes filled with a mixture of longing and resentment. The house seemed to come alive with unseen forces, the air thickening with a palpable tension that clung to the explorers like a shroud. As they ascended a narrow staircase, the temperature plummeted, and a haunting melody echoed through the halls. The source of the eerie music remained elusive, each step bringing the group closer to the heart of the mystery. Emma's camera continued to click, capturing the ethereal notes that seemed to resonate with the tormented souls that lingered in the shadows. In a small, forgotten attic room, the group discovered a weathered music box, its delicate melody now a haunting refrain that seemed to echo through the very fabric of the house. The air grew colder, and the room pulsed with an otherworldly energy as the music box played on its own accord. Mark, the skeptic, felt a chill run down his spine as the oppressive atmosphere closed in around them. He scoffed nervously, attempting to rationalize the inexplicable events. But his bravado waned as shadows danced along the walls, taking on twisted forms that seemed to reach out from the spectral realm. As the group huddled together, the temperature in the room plummeted further, and the music box's melody warped into a discordant symphony of despair. Whispers filled the air, indistinct but laden with sorrow, as if the very walls were confessing the secrets they held. A sudden, bone-chilling wind swept through the attic, extinguishing their flashlights and plunging them into darkness. Panic set in as the group fumbled for their lights, their trembling hands revealing the vulnerability that lurked beneath their facade of bravery. In the pitch-black darkness, Sarah's voice trembled as she spoke, "We need to leave. This place is cursed." But as the group attempted to retreat, an invisible force seemed to bar their way, trapping them within the suffocating confines of the attic. The music box continued its haunting melody, its notes now warped into a mournful lament that reverberated through the very souls of the explorers. Shadows writhed in the darkness, taking on sinister forms that seemed to manifest the pain and anguish of the spirits that dwelled within. Suddenly, a figure materialized before them, a spectral woman, her eyes hollow voids that bore into their very souls. Her ethereal form swayed to the melancholic rhythm of the music box, and her voice echoed through the darkness, recounting the tragic tale that had bound her spirit to the forsaken home. She spoke of a family torn apart by loss, of a mother driven to madness by the inexplicable events that unfolded within the walls of the house. As her tale unfolded, the very air seemed to quiver with the weight of sorrow, and the explorers felt the raw emotion that clung to the spectral narrative. Emma, still clutching her camera, captured the ghostly apparition in her lens, each click immortalizing the tortured soul trapped within the confines of the attic. The air crackled with energy as the spirit reached out, her fingers brushing against the fabric of the living world. With a final, mournful wail, the apparition dissipated, leaving the group in stunned silence. The music box fell silent, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted, allowing the explorers to escape the attic and the haunted home. As they stumbled out into the moonlit night, they could still hear the echoes of the woman's lament, carried by the wind through the twisted branches of Aokigahara. The group emerged changed, their skepticism shattered by the otherworldly encounter. Emma, haunted by the images she captured, felt a newfound respect for the thin veil that separated the living from the dead. Mark, humbled by the inexplicable events, could no longer deny the existence of forces beyond comprehension. As they retreated from the forest, the abandoned home stood as a silent sentinel, its walls still holding the echoes of the tragic tale that had unfolded within. Aokigahara, the sea of trees, remained a place where the living and the dead coexisted, where the past bled into the present, leaving behind a haunting legacy that would forever linger in the shadows of the forsaken home. Story 2: The Silent Rooms of Matsuo Manor. The wind howled through the ancient trees that surrounded Matsuo Manor, their branches creaking like the tortured souls rumored to linger within its forsaken halls. The moon cast an eerie glow over the dilapidated mansion, revealing the unsettling stillness that had settled over the once grand estate. Matsuo Manor had long been a source of local legends and ghost stories. Built in the late 19th century, the imposing structure had been home to the Matsuo family for generations. However, tragedy struck the family in the early 20th century, leaving the once thriving residents tainted by darkness. As the village whispered of curses and vengeful spirits, a team of paranormal investigators, led by the fearless Dr. Emily Harper, arrived at Matsuo Manor. With cameras, recording equipment, and a determination to uncover the truth, they stepped into the chilling embrace of the decaying estate. The entrance door groaned as it swung open, revealing a grand foyer that had seen better days. Dust danced in the air as the investigators cautiously entered, their footsteps echoing in the silence. Dr. Harper, a seasoned researcher in the field of paranormal phenomena, felt a shiver crawl down her spine. The team explored room after room, each one more haunting than the last. In the parlor, an old piano played a melancholic tune on its own, sending shivers down the investigators' spines. In the dining hall, an otherworldly chill hung in the air, causing the investigators to see their breath despite the mild weather outside. As they delved deeper into Matsuo Manor, the investigators uncovered the tragic tale that had left the mansion tainted with sorrow. Decades ago, the Matsuo family had been a prosperous and respected lineage in the village. The head of the family, Hiroshi Matsuo, was known for his wealth and influence. However, Hiroshi's insatiable greed led him down a dark path. In his pursuit of power and fortune, he made a pact with a malevolent entity, unleashing a curse upon his family. The curse manifested in a series of mysterious deaths, claiming the lives of Hiroshi's wife and children one by one. The investigators discovered faded photographs depicting a once happy family, their smiles now distorted by the tragedy that befell them. The local archives revealed chilling accounts of the deaths, each family member found lifeless, their faces twisted in anguish. In one particularly haunting room, the investigators stumbled upon a collection of old journals belonging to Hiroshi Matsuo. The entries spoke of desperate attempts to break the curse, with Hiroshi delving into forbidden rituals and dark magic. As the pages turned, the tone shifted from hope to despair, revealing a man consumed by guilt and regret. As night fell over Matsuo Manor, the investigators set up their equipment in the room where the curse had claimed its final victim, Hiroshi Matsuo himself. The air grew thick with anticipation as they conducted a seance, attempting to communicate with the lingering spirits trapped within the mansion's walls. Whispers echoed through the darkness, and the temperature in the room dropped drastically. Suddenly, the investigators felt an oppressive presence, a force that seemed to materialize from the shadows. The entity spoke through the mediums, its voice a haunting mixture of sorrow and rage. "I sought power, but instead, I brought doom upon my own flesh and blood, the voice lamented. The curse that binds me to this wretched place is my punishment for the sins I committed in life. The investigators listened in awe and horror as the entity revealed its name, Akumu, a vengeful spirit born from the darkness that Hiroshi Matsuo had unleashed. Akumu spoke of the torment it endured, trapped in the mansion's spectral realm, unable to find peace. Driven by a sense of empathy, Dr. Harper pleaded with Akumu to release its hold on Matsuo Manor and find solace in the afterlife. The room seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly energy as the entity considered her words. In a chilling moment, the investigators witnessed a flicker of ethereal light as Akumu's form began to dissipate. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and Matsuo Manor felt emptier, as if the weight of the curse had finally been lifted. As dawn approached, the investigators left Matsuo Manor with a mixture of relief and melancholy. The once foreboding mansion now stood silent, its haunted history laid bare for the world to discover. The village, no longer burdened by the malevolent force that had plagued Matsuo Manor, slowly began to heal from the scars of the past. Dr. Emily Harper and her team had uncovered the tragic tale of Matsuo Manor, a story of greed, dark magic, and the consequences of tampering with forces beyond human comprehension. As they departed, the investigators couldn't shake the feeling that the spirits of the Matsuo family and the vengeful entity Akumu had finally found the peace that had eluded them for so long. Matsuo Manor, once a symbol of horror, now stood as a reminder of the fragile boundary between the living and the dead. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and turn on notifications if you enjoyed the video so you never miss an upload.